Welcome back to Dolphins United, the platform for Dolphins. You heard me. We are back in the house. Told y'all I had a video coming up for you guys. This is that video, all right? But we're going to change the topic a little bit because I got something else that I gotta say, all right? Pretty much. We're going to talk a little bit about this because I've been hearing a lot, and I know some of you care to hear what my thoughts are on it. So let's go ahead and get right into it. We talking about Golfgate, okay? Now, if you've been under a rock, you haven't heard. There's this big conspiracy, all right, and this big rumor mill and this big controversy about Tua playing golf before a game, all right? Now, whether it was before a Sunday morning game or a Monday night game or a Thursday night game, Tua played, allegedly, golf before a game, okay? A game to which he was told he is not going to be playing in the game as a starter, but rather be a backup because of his injured finger, okay? He injured his finger in one of the games, so, you know, they decided they're going to sit him down and not play him. And the Ravens game was coming up as well. They said they're not going to play him for that game. They didn't give him any, allegedly, all right, allegedly. All of this is allegedly. They didn't give him any snaps the week leading up until the Ravens game. He didn't get any snaps, so we didn't figure he was going to play. They said, oh, you know what? He's good enough to be the backup, not good enough to actually start the game. And allegedly, either that morning or maybe the I don't know, maybe another morning, Tua went out and played golf. And there's a big uproar, and there's uproar on both sides. There's people saying, hey, how could Tua go play golf? He's supposed to be the quarterback. See, this is why, and then blank, 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 blank. And then there's a lot of people that say, especially if it has to do with the Ravens game, so what? Tua went and played golf that morning before the game. It was a night game. It was a late game, so why not go play golf, all right? And they won, okay? So there's people on both sides. Now, let's get, because I like to bring everybody to the middle, okay? That's the type of person I am. And this is Dolphins United, so I don't want us to be divided on the topic. That's why I even talk about stuff like this, so we can try to understand both sides a little bit, all right? Now, there's some times where it's going to be one-sided and it just makes more sense because that's common sense. And then there's times like this where both sides have valid points. So I wanted to talk about it. If Tua, all right, did play golf before a Sunday morning game, as some have allegedly said is what happened, I got a problem with that, okay? Because you need to be preparing for your opponent on a Sunday morning. Games at 1 doggone o'clock most of the time. All right, we had a few 4 o'clock games. If you go play 18 rounds of golf, that's like 2.5, 3 hours, okay? Because you got to walk. I mean, you got a golf court. You might be able to knock it out in an hour and a half, all right? Depending on how big the golf course is. You got carts. You're not walking the whole time. So you might be able to knock it out an hour and a half, 2 hours. That's time you could use to study your opponent, to hone in, to, you know, devote your time to trying to win a football game, because it's hard in the NFL, as they always say, to win a football game. And you can't take it lightly. You need to be studying, all right? Whether that's watching film, whether that's going over the game plan, whether that's whatever. That's what you need to be doing, especially, all right, and that's all football players, punter included, all right, kicker included. That's all players, but especially the quarterback. Especially the quarterback. The quarterback should not be playing golf on a Sunday morning. Now, some people will say, well, he allegedly played golf on a Thursday morning. I will say this. I don't like it. All right? Now, if you're going to play golf on a Sunday morning, I definitely think that's absurd, okay? Because the game's at 1 o'clock. But I still don't like you trying to play golf on a Thursday morning, okay? I'm not a fan of that because I believe that if it's game day, you devote your time to the game. I don't care if it's 8 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. If it's game day, devote your time to the game. Should no player, all right, even practice squad guys, in my opinion, on game day, be doing anything else rather than focusing on that game, all right? Because if you are not planning on playing and you're on the practice squad, you need to act as if you are, all right? You need to have that mindset from early, okay? Okay, if I was playing, this is what I would be doing. Do that, all right? Because you need to act like you've been there once you actually make it, okay? It's all about your mindset. It's all about your mentals, okay? That's very important. A quarterback, in my opinion, should not be playing golf on game day, no matter if the game is in the morning, in the afternoon, or at night. That's my opinion. Now, some people will say now, okay, that I've made that opinion. How are you going to bring the other side in? Because right now you're leaning far against, all right, the golfing thing. Here's my side for the other people that feel like there's no problem. Tua went through a lot last year, all right? I don't know what he dealt with mentally. I don't know him. But I know he dealt with a lot. That's easy to see. Tua had a problem with Flo because Flo had a problem with Tua. That we all at this point know, especially based on his answer at the press conference when they asked him a question about Flo and the relationship type thing. And he was like, well, I'm happy he drafted me. Like, if that's the best thing he could come up with, then, and it seems like he could have said some negative things, but he just chose to take the high road, and that's the only way he could take the high road. There were some issues. Tua was told he wasn't going to play, all right? Tua had an injured finger. In Tua's defense, Tua went and played golf, all right, allegedly, because he is not that injured, okay? So if I'm able to go play golf on this finger, why can't I practice on this finger? Why can't you give me a chance to do so? And why can't I also play as the starter in the game? You're telling me that I'm not going to practice all week, I'm not going to play in the game, then I'm going to go golf because I need to do something, all right? They didn't let the man practice. They didn't let they told the man that he's not gonna start the game. The man, to probably take his mind off of everything, went and played golf. Yes, it was a lack. It was a lack of good judgment. All right, it was poor judgment on Tua's part because that's not something you should do on game day. But I understand in his situation why he might have done it, because when you're dealing with all this stress and something takes your mind off of the stress, and a lot of people do it, all right, doesn't mean it's right, but whether it's smoking, drinking, or whatever other vice people have, all right, out there, they're going to go to that, all right? His happens to be golf. He loves golfing. He said that. So he went and played golf. Probably needed to clear his head, clear his mind, okay? Hindsight, when you look at the game, he came in, he did his job, all right? Not only was he on time, for what we know, he got called into the game, and he didn't look like he was unprepared, all right? So here's what I would have to say on that. If you got a problem with Tua playing golf before the game, I understand. But let's not act, especially if it was the Ravens game, as if the man didn't go in there and win that game for the Dolphins or help win that game. Now, he didn't win it for the Dolphins, but he helped win that game for the Dolphins. Let's not act like he didn't do that. All right, if it was the Ravens game, let's please not act like the man went in there and he was unprepared. Now, if he pulled that type of work and he went in there and he looked like he was unprepared and we lost the game, and then comes out months later, like it just came out about he was playing golf, then you crucify him. All right, and crucify is a strong word, but then you go in on him. All right, you go in on him as hard as you want. But if it was that game, we won that game. Not only did we win that game, he came in, he didn't look unprepared. So maybe Tua is just the type of guy that he can keep those two things separate. He can separate in his mind and still come out and execute like he needs to. Now, I'm not saying that Tua is a great quarterback because he's not yet. He's got a lot of improvements to make, and he's got a lot of work to do, and I know he's working hard on that. And that's another thing I want to touch real quick, his work ethic, because they're tying this golf thing into the fact that he's not a hard worker, okay? And I want to dispel that somewhat. Although there are some valid things there, because he is golfing a lot, and a lot of people can look at that as him not honing in and taking his job serious and working on his craft. But here's the common sense thing of it all. If Tua, and I've made a video about this before, okay? If Tua is indeed a player and a quarterback that lacks great work ethic, why did Tua get hurt in November and hurt his hip in November? All right. Why did he hurt his hip in November and come back in March to throw? Okay. The next year. Throw in March, or I believe it was March. He was able to throw in March, and then he was also able to play in November of the following year. How was that able to happen if Tua is not a hard worker? All right. We got to make stuff make sense, because if a guy hurts his hip and it's a devastating, possibly career-ending injury, you should have a pro day in March. All right. Let's just make it make sense. You shouldn't have a pro day where you're throwing in March. You shouldn't. All right. If you're not a hard worker, if you're not somebody that hones in and likes to work and gets after it, you're not throwing in March. You're not. Now, I understand some people might say, well, you was trying to get drafted. Doesn't matter what it is. Whatever the motivation is, that shows hard work. That shows consistency. That shows a drive to get after it, because he was drafted number 5 because of that video. If that video doesn't come out, he probably doesn't get drafted number 5, okay? He needed that pro day. He worked hard. He got to it. Not only that, last offseason, he worked his behind off at Perform. This offseason, working his behind off at Perform. Yes, the man likes to golf. The man likes to chill. Tom Brady likes to golf. There's a lot of players that like to do extracurricular activities. We can't kill the man because his happens to be golf. All right? That's one. It has nothing to do with work ethic. I understand that you can try to paint the two together and put the two together, especially when he's not performing up to par. But when it comes to work ethic, we got to actually look at what's there. All right? The man has a good work ethic. Is it a legendary work ethic? Probably not. Could it be possibly better? Yes, it could. Is he on the Russell Wilson's of work ethic? No, he's not. All right, he's not on that level. All right, Russell Wilson is at a different level when it comes to work ethic. You look at Tua, he's not on that level. But maybe he doesn't feel like he needs to be, and maybe he doesn't need to be. All right? Maybe he's just the type of guy where he's like Allen Iverson in a sense. Practice is not his thing. He's going to go in the game and he's going to ball out. Now, he's got to show it. But maybe that's the type of guy he is. He's just not going to show it in practice. He's going to be a gamer type of guy, okay? I don't know. I'm just shooting stuff out there. I don't know. All right? But I will say this. Tua is not a guy that lacks work ethic. He's not a lazy guy, all right? You can't go from having that type of injury in November to being able to throw a football 40-some, 50-some yards in a little practice facility in March or April, whatever it was. Probably early April, whatever it was. That doesn't happen without being a hard worker. It doesn't happen, all right? It just doesn't happen. We got to make it make sense, okay? You're not throwing in November for a game in an actual game against the Rams of all people without being a hard worker. It just doesn't happen, okay? So miss me with that one. I do agree, and I don't like the fact that the man was playing golf, whether it was on a Sunday morning or whether it was on a Thursday morning before the Ravens game, but we won, okay? And if it was any time after that Ravens game, for the most part, until the Tennessee game anyway, we was winning, okay? So if playing golf is your thing and we winning, I'm with it. I'm cool with it. I don't like it. I wouldn't want my quarterback to do that. But if we're winning, do what helps us win. All right? I'm with it. Now, this video is a little longer because I wanted to explain all of these things. But I wanted to go real quick over the draft and give my grades. All right? There's a lot of media outlets out there giving us B's and C's for our grades. They just don't feel like we attacked our issue target areas, okay? So we needed a center. We needed an offensive line, a right tackle. We needed a linebacker. We needed a defensive end help. We needed a nose tackle. They don't feel like we addressed all of those, so they gave us a C or they gave us a B minus, okay? I see mostly B minuses and C's. What is my grade? Overall, I give the Dolphins a B plus, okay? Why do I give them a B plus? Is because I liked what they did. I didn't necessarily love all of the picks, all right? I feel like you still should have gotten a center instead of the wide receiver. And the wide receiver could turn out to be a beast. He probably will. I like how he talks, especially him saying that he a dog. The last dog we had was Juice. So if Juice Landry, or if he could be anything like Juice Landry, I'm with it. I'm with it. And he seems on tape that he could be that type of guy. All right. So I would love that. I would love that because Juice was one of my favorite players when he was here. But I still would have rather the center it at that spot. Okay. I'd have given him an A if we got a center to compete with Dieter. I understand why they didn't because they go best player available. I'm willing to give them a B plus rather than a C or anything like that because I understand their approach. They're going to go best player available. He was the best player available. You take him, and that's what leads to a team of Pro Bowlers, full of Pro Bowlers and all pros, is because you take the best player available on your board. That's the way you do it. I'm in full agreement with that. Because of that, I give them a B plus. Please let me know how you feel. One, about Golfgate, and about the draft grades, okay? All right, how you feel. It's not a C, it's not a D, all right? So I don't know where they got this stuff from or how they're doing. To me, B plus, maybe even an A if you want to look at it like that, all right? Because the players they got at the spots they picked them, good players. I'll highlight y'all in the next one. Y'all already know what it is. Fins up till we die. See y'all later.